President Joe Biden could be nearing a key decision on former President Trump's China tariffs. Yahoo Finance senior columnist Rick Newman has more on this. Rick, good to see you as always. So what would this mean for the inflationary outlook if these tariffs are rolled back?
Back in March, some economists at the Peterson Institute did an analysis saying they think this might actually help reduce inflation by a measurable amount, maybe 1 percentage point. That would be if Biden rolled back all of the Trump tariffs, which the White House indicates he's not likely to do. And I think some people at the White House are feeling kind of like, well, what's the point? It's not going to do anything about gas prices, for example, which I think is a lot of people's biggest concern. But on the other hand, there's very little Biden can do, and there's not much he can tell voters that he has actually accomplished with regard to inflation. So that's why we're hearing that maybe he'll do this. Now, I would point out, we've been getting leaks from the Biden White House about a bunch of different things he might do. We've been hearing that he might cancel student debt, for instance, for really months at this point. And it feels like what they're doing is releasing some trial balloons, trying to see, well, what is the reaction publicly? What might the political risk be? If he does undo the Trump tariffs on Chinese imports, he is possibly opening himself to charges that he is soft on China. And they're trying to get a handle on every possible risk leading into the midterm elections in November.
What have those tariffs achieved, though, Rick?
Unclear. I mean, there's been plenty of solid analysis that shows they just pushed the cost of those products up. Trump continually lied and said, no, when we put tariffs on imports, we're not the ones paying it. Americans are not the ones paying it. It's the importers who are paying it, the Chinese firms that are making this stuff. It's just patently untrue. I mean, the way a tariff works is the price of the product coming into the United States goes up. So whoever is buying that product at the wholesale level here in the United States is paying more for it. And then the question becomes, can they pass that cost on to consumers or not? Probably when these tariffs went into effect back in 2018, 2019, the importers found they could not pass a lot of that cost on to consumers because inflation was pretty low. We did not have the environment we have right now, but now there are other pressures on these importers too, all the supply chain disruptions, and clearly they are passing higher costs on to consumers, which is why we now have inflation at 8.6%.
Rick, anytime the president or any elected official is in my home state of Pennsylvania, I get a little bit, I get excited. And so President Biden, he had some words and continues to say that the economy is great. I believe we have a quick shot from that.
The bottom line is this. I truly believe we've made extraordinary progress by laying a new foundation for our economy, which becomes clear once global inflation begins to recede. There's so much at stake. But the truth is, I've never been more optimistic about America than I am today. I really mean it.
Okay, and so I want to get your thoughts on this messaging from the president. That was at the Philadelphia Convention Center just yesterday, Rick.
Pennsylvania is my home state too, Brad. But I think when Biden says he's never felt more optimistic about America, that makes one of us. This is just not showing up in any consumer confidence surveys or in Biden's approval rating or in any other of the other ways we measure people's attitudes. I mean, there's one consumer confidence index that shows people's attitudes are worse than they were during the financial crash in 2008 and even worse than they were after 9/11 in 2001. So Biden is old enough to remember when Jimmy Carter gave the malaise speech, which made Carter just seem weak and ineffectual. So he's not going to make that mistake. He's not going to come out and say, I know everything sucks. We're in bad shape. He has to be the optimist in chief. But I just don't think he's going to connect with people until gas prices go down and some of these other inflationary pressures improve.
All right. Rick Newman, Yahoo Finance's own, of course, keeping tabs on everything Bidenomics. We appreciate it, Rick.